Hi, this is Eldervi, and I guess it's time for one of those videos again. To quote the inspiration of this thumbnail, there are only two kinds of units left in this game. Those countered by Elimine, and those who didn't stand a chance in the first place. Something like that. Silence the Catriaballs! Or was it the other way around? Different from my previous videos of this sort, I don't even feel like I need to prove Elimine's power to you. The fact that she shuts down any last hope of building a meaningful defense is thrown so blatantly in our face that it would already hurt if the final outcome wouldn't be so funny. Therefore, I'll go a step further and showcase her ridiculousness. For the first time in history, I'm gonna play a full saveball. Yes, I've worked with far save both offensively and defensively before, but never with both far and near save. That's an absolute first for me. Same as with 4, I only played single matches for the rest of the week as soon as we got Elimine, making me play 10 matches in total, and I cleared even the toughest hardcore plus 10 maps with unmerged base kit units. Thought this was the last nail in the coffin to make Wales rampage across our defenses? Quite the opposite. Intended or not, IS gave even low budget players the tool to dismantle even the most powerful defenses by just pressing end turn. And most of the things you need are still available, so grab them while you can. For my very own saveball, I went with the unmerged base kit Fjorm, who I just pulled together with Elimine, and ran Deflect Magic mostly for Duo Corrin and maybe Duo Lysithia? I don't know, I have no clue which seal is actually good on her, and to be honest, it doesn't matter. You don't need one. I actually even forgot to ascend one of her stats for the first few matches. And minus res? Who cares with a damage reduction of over 70%? The more damage she would initially take, the more damage I will deal to my enemies. Ice Mirror at its finest. Then I'll pick mostly base kit unmerged Gustav. I simply replace the close defense 4 by null armor effectiveness to counter the few brave Ericas and armor smasher odors. I can easily shut down any visual buffs with Elimine herself. Minus attack Gustav? Whatever. Gonna be rerun soon. And finally, Elimine herself. I'll keep whatever IVs I got and put Fortress Res and Phantom Res on her for a res stat of 56. Didn't even flower her. Even though these are free premium units, there's no skill inheritance whatsoever, and not a single merge is needed to succeed. This is the cheapest and most reliable offense team ever. As for the other units, I'm gonna run 3 mythics. Plumeria, cause she's the bonus mythic and provides some mobility with her Wings of Mercy dance and guidance. 4, as her Worldbreaker effect makes sure Fjorm will recharge her special against anyone who doesn't double her. And Regin, who I have at plus 10 as a buff and potbot. That was fun to say. And now, watch me slay. I really made an effort trying to play these games as carefree as possible. Not because I want to throw shade on saveball users, everyone does what they enjoy most, but as said before, just to show the ridiculousness. So I have not used any calculator to forecast the outcome of any battle, but instead saved myself a lot of time and purely trusted in the sheer bulk of my units. Even against mighty maps like these. Plus 10 Thracia with double life and death, reaching 63 attack and 59 speed. Plus 10 Bridal Catria with a Heavy Blade Gale Force set. Plus 10 Mirabilis with double close guard. Plus 10 Brave Edelgard with near save and unity. Plus 10 armor effective Duo Micaiah. Plus 10 far save Ascended Fjorm with unity and hardy fighter. And last, a plus 10 Zeros with Dragon Wall and Phantom Res. This is a team that would have normally made me shit my pants. Literally. I guess the only downside to this team is the lack of rally traps, as everyone's basically running swap as their assist, but Fjorm and Edelgard form a perfect defensive wall which is really hard to break, while Frazier and Micaiah attack you from any angle you try to tank this comp from with a brave attack. I guess you can tank below Edelgard and make only Micaiah reach you, so that's a possibility. Didn't even think that far when I was actually playing. So for the next step, let's see what Elimine can do. There are only very few effects Elimine can stop in the setup, as most of these units are not running start of turn effects, but there are some. As for turn 1, I can totally stop Fjorm from charging up Ice Mirror. This must be one of the most ridiculous powers and completely negates this gem's purpose on defensive maps. In the round after that, I get to choose between shutting down Bridal Catria's weapon, making sure none of these units would get the Brave Attack and Orders buff, or Edelgard's Flowerhood Claire mobility. Seeing how Catria gives out the mobility anyways, her lane obviously makes the most sense, and I do get a little cherry on top by doing that. Dual Micaiah gets attack res +6 during combat, and disables follow-up attacks under the clause that she has a bonus. Seeing that there are no visible buffs on this team, besides the Orders buff, which is kinda smart seeing that there was no chance of denying that before, she will lose a lot of her firepower. None of these units reach the ridiculous 56 phantom res of Elimine, and even if Zeros could, who comes closest with 54 res to maximize the Dragon Wall effect, why would you even want to target her? The important units like Catria will never be able to reach these numbers. To be fair, I could have shut down Fjorm first and Catria later, but seeing that my only two ranged attackers have 42 and 29 attack, I spared myself the trouble and targeted Catria right away. Next, I put up my saveball. I placed 4 as a bait. She's great as the lead unit, as it makes sure that I will get the Worldbreaker effect, while already setting her up for some important kills with her Gale Force kit the round after that. I guess I could have taken the safer route below Edelgard, but I did like that this would make all their units gather in that small corridor on the left side. Cause there's one little downside to Elimine's effect. If you're not careful, you can easily lose her effect in the round after initiating, especially against movement heavy teams. I knew Mirabilis would dance Fjorm as soon as either Micaiah or Frazier opened up the path, but Fjorm wouldn't be able to go far. Catria would likely be one of the last units to move, and given her swap, I was just hoping she would swap out a unit and take their place in the Belhala celebration path, so I put Elimine right behind 4. I aligned Fjorm with a repo from Regin and made her travel across Plumeria, who is running the guidance seal.
I'll protect you.
Finally, I gave Regin a dance so she could repo Gustav. With Catria's effect being shut down, I knew that no melee unit would reach me, but it was good to have him close for the following turns. With that, let's see how my unmerged minus res Fjorm does against the armor effective Mickey and killing instinct Frazier. Wow, 17 from initially 64 effective damage. With the 5 flat reduced damage from Hardy Fighter and her self-healing of 7, that's an effective damage reduction of 84%. And even though the healing doesn't factor into Ice Mirror's damage obviously, that Micaiah was dead with or without her weapon's effect. With Triangle Attack, which would normally be up for such a comp, my Fjorm would be found dead in a ditch. Not anymore. Round 2. Wow, that plus 10 Frazier doesn't even double. My unmerged base kit Fjorm reaches 66 speed, a plus 10 version with additional Bonoka support and an attack speed bond seal could reach 83 speed. Talking about ridiculousness. And as expected, no melee unit could reach me. Even better, Catria ended up in my trap once again. 4 wasn't really able to take on Edelgard, so I started to put Regin on an adventure to get the pots.
I'll do it.
With some starting issues. I'm not used to this playstyle. And let Gustav handle the girl group like a proud father, hitting his screaming teenager Justin Bieber fangirls back to their senses. Not that I would ever suggest that hitting teenagers was a thing.
Yes?
Unless it's Justin Bieber himself, who just bought a sad face NFT monkey for over $1 million. And I thought the monkey he abandoned here in Germany was his most embarrassing experience with a monkey. See, I'm already practicing for my Fire Emblem roast. I was hoping Gustav would take out Catria in order to be done with the stupid triangle attack, but of course, the +10 Edelgard had to act like she's still relevant and denied me the space. I'm actually really afraid of her upcoming refine. I think she's the only brave unit besides Veronica that never fell out of the meta until her refine. So I'm hoping for something underwhelming. So, turn 3, and Catria finally ended up outside of my trap. Would that be an issue? Thankfully, not anymore. With the damage Gustav already dealt to Edelgard, Thor was finally able to take that beast out. From here, I could have simply baited only Mirabilis, seeing that there were no further rallies. Or I simply killed her, activating Gale Force. And with that, there weren't enough units on the map to activate Triangle Attack, no matter how hard Catria tried. The rest of the map was therefore me trying to get those pots in the most embarrassing way, while my other units pretty much leaned back.
By your will.
Yes?
I will go.
Onward.
By your will. They will submit. I won't lose. Why not? Yeah. Yes?
And so I took out my first full +10 comp with little to no thinking. Thanks, Elimine.
I seek a foe. I'll do it. They will submit.
To open the way!
My next map was giving me more trouble, but also more options. +7 near save stance Edelgard, a +10 NFU Fatal Smoke Zeros, a +4 guard bearing Catria, +10 guard bearing double guard Mirabilis, +3 Dancer Sigurd, isolation optimized with odd pulse tie, a +10 double life and death legendary Lilina reaching 81 visible attack, and last, a +10 far safe Swollen Shield Fallen Edelgard. Huh, whatever. So, my options this turn were shutting down Edelgard, disabling her movement. Meh. Disabling once again Catria. Sure. Disabling Lilina's weapon effect that grants her the turn 1 gifted magic. Interesting. Or disabling Sigurd's odd pulse tie. Is this a situation of too much to handle? Yeah, I watch trash TV. Honestly, no, cause both effects do not really trouble me. Sigurd's odd pulse tie will target my Regin, who I use as a buff and pot clown. Taking away her special? Sure, be my guest. And as for Lilina's special, I can easily ignore that by putting my safe unit 2 tiles away. In comps where this isn't possible, shutting down Lilina is surely one of the best options, but over here it really didn't matter. Given that I also have a heal and wouldn't mind a bit of damage on my 4 to have better mobility with the double Wings of Mercy, I decided to shut down Sigurd in turn 1 and Catria in turn 2. I made sure Fjorm was fully buffed by Elimine and Dragon and put 4 once again on the front, right below the former tactic room, where I would casually make all the red units attack my green defense line. This will be fine.
I seek a foe. Speak.
I placed the other 3 riders of the Apocalypse in a strategic way around the fortress and set up Fjorm once again by using the Guidance Seal on Plumeria. That way, Lilina's gifted magic would only hit 4, which was fine by me, and Catria should once again end up in my Desolation next turn. I don't know how to call Elimine's effect. Suggestions are very much appreciated. Lilina goes in for the attack 67, exactly lethal, until 18, one more than the armor effective Micaiah last match. Yay! Again, with the triangle attack, which would be active in this situation, my Fjorm would be dead, but like this, it's a very dead Lilina, even without the double. Ninja Katana Mirabilis was as impressive as, honestly, any Mirabilis trying to attack. And if Lilina didn't stand a chance, Sigurd obviously wouldn't as well. He at least survived the first attack. So it was Catria and Saros next, who ended up in my elimination. Elimination, I like that. I mean, with only 2 triangle attackers, her effect wouldn't go off anyways. And you know what? Never mind. Charged up Gale Force, used Elimine's Nudge to get back some health while also testing the trap, and as my damage wasn't quite high enough in turn 1, I just decided to attack her twice with a dance. Reverse Catria. By the way, I thought a lot about Elimine's B slot, and I honestly think that the trace works best. I mean, sure, you can pick up Redful stuff, but with an attack of 42? Even my level 1 Plumeria hits harder. Sabotages might be nice indeed, but I do really value the ability to move 2 tiles after healing a unit. The both Edelgards obviously turned out to be quite a menace, so I quickly grabbed myself the last pot and prepared to take them on with Gustav.
Yes. I'll do it. Over here?
He would charge up his special despite Edelgard's stance effect thanks to 4, while negating Edelgard any cooldown reduction herself. You love to see it. And with Elimine's damage reduction on top, beating them would only be a matter of... never mind. Unmerged minus attack Gustav, ladies and gentlemen. 4 wasn't quite able to take on fallen Edelgard in her current state, but with a bit of healing, she finally finished the job.
They will submit. By your will. Why not? I seek a foe. I will go. They will submit.
My last match in the Whale department made me meet this very familiar design. Kia Stuff Sarah recovering any type of chaos for the whole team. Or so we thought. Spoilers! A plus 10 Impact Tactic Duo Peony, plus 10 Armor March Special Fighter Duma, plus 10 Impact Dancer Dorothea, plus 10 Fatal Smoke Liv, plus 10 Double Solo Bernie, and last, a plus 1 Saros. That's disappointing. Being very familiar with this map, I obviously knew what was intended to happen. Bernie damages all allies within 2 spaces with 1 damage at the start of the turn. This triggers Sarah to act, and thanks to her being in the extra slot, and Peony recovering her, also providing the nice little orders buff on top, she will repo Liv forward, who will then easily target whoever he wants. And Liv is indeed an issue. On top of having big bulk and color advantage, his weapon Pure negates 50% of my damage reduction. So what could I do? I actually found out earlier this week that Sarah's Kia Stuff would not, as we were all hoping, lift Elimine's Elimination, but only recover healing and damaging effects. Sadly, I got 2 of them on this map. But, funny enough, the HP in this team do not match. Kia Stuff only recovers the unit with the lowest HP, in this case Duo Peony, so I could actually eliminate Bernie's weapon, cancelling the turn 1 damage and therefore deactivate the trap. But only if there's a debuff on the unit with the lowest HP, which I didn't have. This is where Sabotage Elimine would have actually shined. Or an actual Plumeria with an actual rest stat with a Ploy as a C-skill. My flyer school would have worked as well if it were in the other corner, but it wasn't, so Elimine was actually mostly shut down against this map. Even if I shut down Peony's attack tactic, she would still buff Liv by +3 with her dance, so as a last little resort, I got to disable Dorothea's weapon, who would have otherwise decreased Fjord's speed. And this was actually the first time I wasn't feeling super confident in Fjord's bulk. But being so familiar with that map, I knew that I could disable the return trap another way, namely by baiting Liv right away. Return has a similar condition as Dancers when it comes to attacking. Heal too little and the heal won't have priority. So, by baiting Liv, I would make him leave his team, denying him the effect of his weapon, which was huge, but I was still not confident in Fjord taking him out. I have seen my own unmerged Liv easily surviving tons of Fjords, so why would this +10 version fall to my unmerged Fjord? At the same time, if I brought him below 50% health, that would trigger Dorothea, and I had no clue what she would do. So I decided to play this match as safe as possible. I stayed out of Bernie's range, who I surely didn't want to face on top with that speed, and gave my Fjord the maximum amount of support from her teammates. Full buffs, Flower of Plenty, World Breaker and Holy Ground. This was all I could do. From there, I had to hope for the best. Duma's damage came in, couldn't have stopped that either cause of the Kia Stuff. Peony danced, giving Liv a lot of additional bulk, but as planned, the return trap didn't go off. 74. Surely not lethal, but look at my side. 0 times 2. Not the numbers I was hoping for. Still, damage reduced to 21. That's an effective damage reduction of 71%. Would that be enough to take him out? No way! He lives by 1 point of health! Unbelievable. So a slightly merged Fjord, or one with good IVs, I'm talking about plus attack plus speed, could have actually taken down this +10 Liv. This is crazy. Dorothea attacked, and her seemingly exactly lethal attack wasn't more than a scratch in Fjord's icy armor. But I didn't kill her either. What the fuck? I survived turn 1, but my Fjorm was heavily damaged and I didn't kill a single unit. Sure, I would eliminate that whole row of units now, but what for? Unless I would eliminate them for real. The real elimination. You know? Maybe this doesn't work so well after all.
Speak.
So after reactivating my turned off brain cells, I came up with a really cool strategy. First, I opened up the path with Elimine. With that, 4 was in the perfect spot to take out Zeros, and she sure as hell did. And then, call this stupid lucky if you want, Double Fury and Duma's upheaval damage pushed me exactly
Close
into
your
Wings of
eyes.
Mercy range. So I refreshed 4 and finally made some
won't
use of
lose.
Regan, who easily killed that barely alive Liv.
I don't think so.
And then she ran away like a coward. This did open up the path for 4,
They
who
will
could now
submit.
take out Bernie and activate Gale Force. This
By your
is
will.
still a saveball showcase, by the way. You can take the boy out of the Gale Force team, but you can't take the Gale Force out of the boy. And so I finished off the
Lady
Dorothea
Missile.
and put Fjorm back in place to cover my severely damaged 4 from Peony.
You're sure?
Funny enough, as a little side note, my 4 actually eats the Dark Shrine debuff. Isn't that cool? And if I had fully committed to this team, I could have given Regan double life and death to make her eat any attack or speed debuffs. Just saying. The rest of the map was simple cleanup work. Yeah, I misplayed the pot collection again. But I am here to learn.
I seek a
A
foe.
huge thanks at this point to Cerulean Gamer, the owner of this map, who showed great sportsmanship.
By your
I
will.
was so excited fighting this map that I apparently forgot to record the match. When I realized my mistake, the first turn was already gone. So I reached out on Twitter to find the mysterious summoner. Was really excited when someone actually recognized the name and got me in touch with him. And after explaining the situation, Cerulean Gamer was ready to help and opened up his mock battles for me, so I could re-record that first turn and show it to you. So many thanks, buddy. That's top level sportsmanship. And he also got his revenge, which I will show you at the end of this video. Cause this is a plus 10 Elimine coming for all of us. 3 plus 10 teams, easily dismantled by a bunch of unmerged units. And my other matches weren't much different. Against this setup, I decided to once again eliminate Catria.
You're sure?
With a turn 1 Dancer Trap that would surely go off. Yes, up to this point, I have still not built the safety fence. After using a saveball, that's the last bit of dignity I have left. I made sure not to be affected by the ruse, though Worldbreaker's effect would have made it meaningless anyways. God, why is this so broken? And easily... Oh, what the... This Leonie is really trying to upset me, isn't she? How am I not doubling her? So what actually happened is, due to her positioning, I lost Elimine's damage reduction. And with the little damage Leonie did in the first place, she actually survived my Fjorm. That nasty redhead. And with Samatana's weapons effect still being intact, I caught myself a Tracer on top. What's this? The Fjorm can't double mini edition? Thankfully though, Fjorm could reduce a lot more damage from this combat, making her delete Tracer with a single blow. Maybe the answer to this team is actually low attack units? But then again, what would they do afterwards?
By your will.
Oh, come on! Now it's starting to get embarrassing. So, what I did was, I healed up 4. With that, she would finally be able to take out Catria, even though I had already eliminated her. So, I could have actually just camped there like a good saveball user, but I am way too impatient for that.
They will
Luckily
submit.
enough, I did not fall for the trap of attacking right away, cause 4 was still affected by the ruse. So I took that off by waiting and dancing, killed Catria next, activating my Gale Force.
By your will.
And then I really made a misplay, caused by my impatience. Instead of killing Leonie with Regan, who could have moved afterwards,
By
I
your
took
will.
out Leonie with 4. I obviously made sure Saros wouldn't reach me, with or without Tana, and Fjorm would protect her from the ranged units. Until... I forgot about the sleeping fairy! I was so convinced of her being a joke that I actually didn't even consider her. But she sure as hell wouldn't be a joke against a freaking 1 HP green unit. And as much as I tapped all of my units in the next 5 minutes, there was nothing I could do. She would either be safe from Mira, but be attacked by the mages, or she would fall against Mira. For a second I thought about surrendering, not wanting to give that kill. But then I came to my senses and told myself that I should show this in order to set an example of not rushing decisions. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I absolutely didn't deserve this at all. Oh my god. I actually know the owner of this map, who is probably watching this right now. So please, please, please don't take this personal. It's not your fault that Mirabilis is a piece of trash that is always working for the enemy. I am sincerely sorry. This was the closest I was to dying in all of my matches, so you deserve kudos for that. To explain what happened here, I actually started calculating after the match cause I couldn't believe it myself. Mira has 49 attack. Her buffs caused by the rally would vanish after I ended my turn, but not the debuffs caused by Frazier. By moving out of Tana's range, she wouldn't receive her buffs, but she did get +4 to all stats from Saros Wings of Light, basically lifting Frazier's debuffs. So 49 times 1.2 cause of the color advantage makes 58 attack. My 4 at the time had 55 defense. Her weapons effect was disabled because of her low health, and Elimine wasn't near to provide either her damage reduction nor the drive support. Fjorm and Regan did nothing for her, so she should have been taken out by 3 damage, enough to kill. If I didn't have Plumeria exactly 2 tiles away, debuffing Mirabilis' attack with a rain for -4. And Tana didn't rally cause she technically dealt more than 5 damage herself. Fjorm's low res actually makes her a great dancer and rally bait. This is so stupid and I am sincerely sorry. I shouldn't have been so reckless though in the first place. This is still supposed to be a saveball after all. So after abusing my Gale Force and Wings of Mercy follow-up once again, I was able to grab both pots and put Saros to rest as well.
Onward. Out of my sight.
My next enemy had as little luck. As we know by now, Kia stuff can only recover healing and damaging skills, so targeting Duma wouldn't have made sense for me. Instead, I denied Baby Innes his Deadeye by eliminating his times pulse. Given that my Fjorm runs her base kit stance skill, he would also never be able to charge it up again in a fight versus her. So he was basically completely shut down with that single action. As there was no point in waiting once again, I balled up my save team and let the magic happen. Kempf was actually quite annoying. Less the flash effect, but more the triple savage blow. So a Deadeye Innes in that situation could have been deadly. But baby did nothing and died right after that. I once again perfectly predicted where Catria would move, denying her triangle attack also in turn 2. And after taking out Kempf with Regan, I finally settled on doing the showcase right, and brought her back in line, so my safe units could continue doing their magic.
I will go.
I made some stunts with Swap, making sure my buddies got healed up again, and put Plumeria out of Fjorm's range, as Sarah would never be able to reach her over there.
Onward.
The units who were unlucky enough to find targets died as intended, and the rest of the team ran away? This is a first for me as well. Catria's triangle attack was re-enabled, technically, if they would ever manage to gather the flyer, the armor and the infantry unit in the same place again. But I took out Sylvia and therefore took their last bit of hope.
You're sure?
After some shenanigans, I took out Duma,
I seek a foe.
and after some more shenanigans, I finally dealt with Catria.
Out of my sight.
And also, the last map in the showcase had little to nothing to offer in countering the setup. For turn 1 I got the option to either disable Oda's Brutal Shell or Fraseer's Times Pulse. As she wouldn't charge her special anyways, I decided to target Oda. Funny enough, with that I realized that I met my very first elimination proof unit. Dancer Sigurd running Phantom Res and therefore reaching 58 res. Respectable. If it weren't for the fact that he isn't an important unit to block anyways, cause the Catria in the room is of course much more interesting to eliminate than him. So I once again set up my team for round 2, danced Fjorm for the +3 to her attack and speed as Regan was too far away being on her very own potty mission, and let the magic happen once again. Lucky for me, this was the first setup where I could actually take out Catria in the first round of fighting, so I had no worries about positioning Elimine in the following turns. By testing the trap with Nudge once again, I managed to take out Oda, who didn't get to shine with either his Brutal Shell or his Slaying Hammer. Poor boy. And as there were no further melee units left on the map after that, I left Gustav mostly behind, concentrating fully on Fjorm.
Over here? Lady Niffle.
Yes.
Yay! Bulky units with low attack. This might take a little bit longer. Really? Not even Sigurd? And that dual leaf didn't even bother to attack me. So I want to speed things up a little bit. Regan snatched herself a pot while Gale Force 4 take out Sigurd and Quan.
They will submit.
Why do I always have the most fun in taking out those FE4 theme teams? I used Plumeria to take the second pot and fully trusted Fjord's bulk once again. And was proven right. Leaf could have actually been an issue with the pull smoke finally taking away my ice mirror, but with everything that was left on that map by then, just Felix, it wasn't an issue at all. The biggest issue was indeed Fjord lacking attack, but I guess a plus 10 copy with both speed and attack boons, and maybe even an attack boosting seal instead of the deflect magic that never came into play, might solve those last little issues as well.
I seek a foe.
My last 4 matches were even less of an issue, so enjoy the slaying reel while I give you some thoughts about Elimine. Elimine is best compared to Flayn, as she perfectly replaces her in saveball teams. They both share the effect of 30% damage reduction to allies within 2 spaces. On top, being a mythic, Elimine provides visible stats, plus 5 HP and plus 4 speed to every team member, while also opening up a slot in your team which you can use for a non-mythic support unit. To be honest, that alone would already make her viable and better than Flayn. But they didn't stop there. They gave her a conditionless bulk drive of defense, res plus 4 on top, and made her weapon visibly buff the defense and res of all allies within 2 spaces by plus 6 each. Combined with her mythic buffs, that's 19 points of pure bulk added upon anything Flayn could provide. Sure, she has an open C slot. That does what? Orders? Bring Duo Peony, or even better, Bonoka now that you have room for her. Close or distant guard? Elimine does both at the same time. Recovery? Yeah, I mean, technically you get the healing every second round, but no one needs the recovery effect on offense where you can just wait and dance. It would have been enough. Seriously. She's already giving so much more to save balls than Flayn could ever do. Why the ridiculous no to everything effect on top? I get that Catriaballs were an issue for the casual save ball user. And let's be real, out of the 6 teams I've shown to you, 5 were using Catria. Up to this point she was just that good. But similar to the safe defense trying to shut down Sigurd Cav lines, but instead also targeting turn 1 traps as well as the over ridiculous kill and run effect, the impact they gave her is simply too much. If she would have gotten, let's say, an exaggerated damage reduction effect, giving maybe 30% on the first hit and 80% on the second hit. Crazy powerful, I know. Catriaballs would be dead against that. And it would even make sense in summoner duels, where you will have a lot of trouble getting her in a meaningful position. But there would also be counters. Deadeye, Lethality, Sublime Heaven, Innisbo of Frelia, Liv's Pjalfi, and we could still get more. I would have been totally fine with such an effect. Instead, we got a Karen saying no to everything. Taking away any kind of enhanced movement, taking away any kind of cooldown reduction, taking away any kind of buffs, debuffs, or setting up your team in any other way than just placing 7 bulky units in there. What exactly does IS want us to build at this stage? It's a joke. And even that one map with Sarah, where my Elimine didn't get to bring her effect. I actually stopped using that map in Astra, cause even casual saveballs were already able to stop it. Saveballs literally had already been the answer to that, and many other defenses. So what are we supposed to build? Defenses with double Catria? Are you joking? It's not like Catria defenses didn't have any weaknesses already. Aether raids is a fragile mode. The defenses we have to go up against are made by us players. If we stop caring about building them, and the state of defenses had been bad even before Elimine, offenses become even more of a joke, and the whole mode will become meaningless. I'm not sure if that is really what they want. At this point, I would like to show you the rematch of Cerulean Gamer, who destroyed me in great fashion. First of all, good job on that. My map with Catria and the rallying Saros enabled by the orders buff completely crumbles under Elimine's pressure. What I would like to point out though is the plus 10 Elimine, who is plus speed by the way, and reaches 62 res with Phantom Res. 62, 66 during bonus weeks. And this could still go up. Together with her came that really optimized Fjorm at plus 10. Who is supposed to kill her, now that you can easily negate any special on defense, while also securing her own special with 4 and her bonuses with Ashera? It's a mythic kit to win. The only thing that could make a difference now would actually be a skill that disables save skills, and they've had their chance to implement that in a balanced way with the feud skills. Maybe we've come to a point where summoner duels are takeover like it happened with Aether raids in the arena. And Aether raids becomes a leftover ranking mode for people who highly invested in their mythics. But if that's the thing, they should quickly and seriously reconsider their scoring system and those captain skills. With that being said, I am honestly super happy about this saveball week finally being over. It's just not my favorite type of game style. I've had a Henriette bike backup team which I never used in Astra before. So I might as well keep that team for that purpose, knowing I have a win button if I'm ever in need of one, but other than that, I'm happy to return to Gale Forces and one-turn clears. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you'll have fun abusing her broken power. If you haven't gotten her yet and look for an easy way to go through Astra season, the current banner is the place to spend your orbs. I don't blame anyone for using the things the game gives us. Funny enough, if Elimine was supposed to be a gift to the whales, the exact opposite has happened, cause their plus 10 units have been fine without her. Elimine is actually a great weapon for low cost players, cause as I've just shown you, a bunch of premium yet base kit and unmerged units can now dismantle even heavy invested plus 10 defenses. In that regard I say, thank you IS for bringing back the balance unintentionally. I hope you'll give me a like and subscribe for all the effort of going out of my comfort zone and leaning back while my saveball team did the work. It was a lot of stress. And I'm sure the next broken thing will come quite soon once they realize what they have done. And I can't wait to cover their next menace as well. See ya!